Welcome, Maura. Thank you for joining our table today. How
Thank
are you
you.
doing?
Good, good. I'm excited to be here. I
Awesome.
love everything you do. I love it.
I love it. Well, we're just starting off. We just started in May and just kicking it off, but it's a passion. And we really enjoy, the seat at the table for the queens and women, supporting women. And so, everybody, welcome back to Who's Sitting at Your Table. Today's queen is a fighter. She's a survivor and inspiration. Mara has been living with metastatic triple negative breast cancer for more than 15 years, a diagnosis she received back in 2009. Wow. At that time, right, was like against all odds. This is something you can't recover from, right? It's like that's pretty serious. And how did you feel back then when you got that diagnosis?
I didn't understand breast cancer. I thought I
Hmm.
did. I owned
Hmm.
a nail salon. So,
Okay.
very unfortunately, I had so many clients who went through treatment. So, I thought I was familiar with it. I didn't know all the subtypes of breast cancer.
Wow.
Because a breast cancer tumor feeds on different things. And so
Wow.
either you're HER positive or you're estrogen positive or progesterone positive. And so that means that they can treat you with chemotherapy, but also blockers. So
Wow.
triple
Okay.
negative means that my tumor didn't have any of those. And
Wow.
so there's no way to treat it besides chemotherapy,
Hmm.
which it's very responsive to chemotherapy, but it's a scarier scenario.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into this a little bit more, but obviously, Mara is still here with us. She survived it. She's got a really impactful, inspirational story. Outside of this struggle that she's going, Mara and I know each other. She is married to my cousin from my mom's side of the family. So you're, an in law
Yeah.
through my mom's side, right? But you also have a, a black belt in Taekwondo.
Yes. I got my third degree black belt in Taekwondo,
Wow.
and I did test for my fourth degree black belt, and
Wow.
I did
Okay.
not. So I tried again and did not
Yeah.
pass. And then
Okay.
now I just do the Peloton.
Yeah. But I studied martial arts growing up. And it was back when I was younger in Hawaii. I was in my tween age, and it was a Hawaiian form that my sensei created. It had karate, jujitsu, aikido, kung fu, and it was a mix. It was called Kodenkan. When I came to the States and my dad retired, I started Kaji Kempo. But anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about your family. So you tell us about your family life and where you live. And well, you don't have to give us your address, but like whereabouts you live. We want to
Yeah.
keep some things personal, right? So tell us a
Um,
little bit about that.
I have 3 kids, and,
Hmm.
they also are third-degree black belts. Yeah,
Oh,
we all trained together. It
that's
was
awesome.
yeah, when my kids were little, we tried different sports, and that was just crazy. So I said, "Everybody do the same thing." Just like
Yeah.
everybody's in the same place. My husband and I just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary,
Wow. That's
and,
awesome.
my kid
Congratulations.
thank you. My kids are now 26, 23, because Jackson's birthday was yesterday. And Hunter just turned 20 last month.
Wow.
And we live
Wow.
in Las Vegas. We've lived in
Las
Las
Vegas.
Vegas for 20 years.
Okay. Wow. So you have all adult kids. And
Yes.
let's go back. Now let's get into like the journey of what you went through, right? Let's take us back to like 2007 when you first were diagnosed
Mhm.
2B breast cancer, right? What did that time look like for you? Let's go back to that emotionally when it was first presented that you had this cancer diagnosis.
I was always a need to know person. Don't tell me any information that's not pertinent to right now. So I was diagnosed with stage 2B, which
Hmm.
means it's serious, but we can still get on top of this.
Okay.
And so I just threw myself into it, and I just look forward to getting through it. So as soon as my chemotherapy, radiation, a double mastectomy, reconstruction, and lymph node removal.
Mm.
When all that was over, I was done. And I didn't
Yeah.
want to be a survivor. I didn't want to be the big rah rah. It was just
Mhm.
something that happened to me.
Yeah.
And I wanted just to move on with my life.
Yeah. I can't imagine. You said when you were diagnosed, you didn't really know a lot about it. You thought you knew, but there's way more. And did you do a lot more research on it or
So
you just want to be done with it?
The doctors told me what to do. I said, "Thank you very much," and I just did it, and
The
I was
doctors
very
don't make a let's go back to the doctors don't make a much to do. It's like, "All right, this was done. Okay, next." I mean,
no, the
what was
surgeon
that
kept
like?
saying, "I don't think you understand how serious this is."
Okay, got it.
And
Alright.
I said, "You said we could get on top of it, so we're getting on top of it." And I'm like, "Don't tell me anything different." So they were great.
They were great. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that because there's a lot of times people have to advocate for themselves, right? And I'm glad that that isn't like that in your experience. So now, when you heard the word metastatic in 2009, what was going through your heart and mind?
I said, "I beat this before, I can beat this again." And
Mhm.
my oncologist cried, and I'm like, "Well, this is bad when your doctor
Yeah.
cries." And she said, "No, once it's stage 4, it's always stage 4." Mine had,
Wow.
metastasized to my lungs, and, they said, "There is no getting on top of this."
Wow.
She said, "We're going to just try to give you as long of a life as we can."
Oh my
Um,
gosh. That's so scary. You had 3 young children at the time. Like what was going through your mind during that time?
it was so hard to wrap my head around
Mhm.
that I wouldn't get to see them grow up, and,
My god.
so I threw myself into writing letters to them, making memories, and so now my kids had kind of a screwed up childhood because I used to take them to the park in the middle of the night, and I used to get them out of school to go Easter dress shopping, and I used to do all these crazy
You're just
things.
trying to live life, all of it now, right? Living at
It
the
was
moment.
exhausting. I took them to, a vampire bar.
You didn't wanna miss out on anything, so you wanted to
Nothing.
give them every wow, I could see I could understand that. I can
It was
understand
a
that why you
crazy
did it.
way to live.
Well, how did Mark deal with it? How was Mark
He was
during this
exhausted. He
process?
said, "If we don't
Yeah.
stop this, we're both gonna be dead soon." 'Cause, I said yes to every invitation. I threw parties all the time. It was
Wow.
exhausting. It was
Yeah. When ultimately, I know you wanted to live every moment, but then I think because your mindset was, "I'm not gonna be here forever, so I need to do this now." But there's also a fine line to where you have to have some self-love for yourself and take care of yourself so you could be healthy while you're here. As crazy as that sounds, right?
there was a moment where my entire personality had to change because they were trying to get me on a, clinical trial.
I was
And
gonna ask about the treatments. Yeah, tell us about that.
my husband said, "I can't make decisions for you. You have to do this yourself."
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much I relied on him before that. And so I had to do the research. I had to look at the statistics, which was not my personality.
It was overwhelming, I'm
Generally,
sure. Yeah.
it was my prognosis was 12 to 14 months. And if I got on this clinical trial, it was supposed to extend my life 6 months.
Okay.
And so I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, babes, you seem like it's not that much, but it's 6 months more with your family and the loved
yeah.
ones, right?
But
But it was frustrating. It's
at that time, living like you're dying was huge. There
mhm,
were songs about it. Everybody was talking about it. And it wasn't sustainable.
mhm.
Honestly, cannot live like you're dying.
You're gonna not to be a comedian about it, you drop dead living like that. You know what I mean?
And if you're not dying, like if you don't die, you just can't keep that up. You have to
No,
at
nobody
some
can. Yeah,
no, at some point you gotta like, oh, okay. Yeah. You gotta
yeah,
like look towards your retirement or something. Like
yeah, yeah,
gotta
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah. You actually, in your bio talked about cyberknife radiation being a turning point.
yes.
What was it like to pivot from the systemic, chemo, a targeted area radiation that people normally do? What's the difference? Tell us a little bit more about that.
I'm a big fan of the medical care I got here in Las Vegas. Everybody was
Okay.
telling me to go to California.
Mm,
And back then, so this is 2010, Las Vegas had just gotten their own cyberknife machine, which was it's a specific beam of radiation that
okay.
targets just the tumor and leaves the tissue around intact. So it was incredible that Las Vegas had just gotten its own. I would have had to go to California. But also, they had never tried it on breast cancer before. It
Okay.
was used on lung. They were just starting to use it on lung, but they were just using
Okay.
it on prostate cancer. So my
Okay.
doctor said, if it works on lung cancer, why wouldn't it work on breast cancer in the lungs? And so I was the first person
Right.
to be treated for it.
Wow. So, you had mentioned also you're an exceptional responder. What does that mean? What did it mean to you? Did it bring hope, or were you feeling pressure? What was going on in your mind?
So it was true that I was really scared to do targeted therapy instead of systematic therapy, because breast cancer does travel to the lungs, brain, bones, and liver, no particular order, but that's where it
Yeah.
goes. So we were
Yeah.
just treating my lungs. So the radiologist said, well, this is one spot, the cancer's not going to come back. And so what they were trying to do is buy me more time with a better quality
Yeah.
of life,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
chemo was just not good. So I was really scared to try it. And they were looking to buy me more time.
Hmm.
So then, so we did it in um, August of 2010 in
Hmm.
one lobe of my lungs. And then in March of 2011, we did my second. And
Okay.
so I had checkups every 3 weeks and then 3 months, and then it just never came back. And
Oh my
nobody
gosh.
expected that. The
Yeah. So
doctors
as I say, is that like a miracle, or like they feel like it's
were like, that doesn't really make sense because we were only treating one part of you, because
yeah.
it should have popped up somewhere else,
Yeah.
but it got
I don't know about you. Maybe you might think, oh, you're a little crazy. I always also believe that somebody's watching over us. You have people surrounding you. The power of medicine and power of mindset, and healthy mindset, healthy person. And I also believe that your physical people around you are a good support system, right? But you also have, I believe, and that my spirit guides, meaning my people in heaven, are watching over me. I like to believe that. I truly believe it. And I believe maybe you had somebody, guardian angels or spirit guide or somebody loved one that passed on, just kind of by your side through this all. I mean, what are your thoughts about that? Do you feel, I mean, this seems like a miracle that
It
took
was,
place.
and it was crazy at the time. I had people praying for me all over the world, like
That's awesome.
literally all over the world. So it's a delicate line that I have to point out, that God did not love me any more than he loved my sisters
Yes,
in
of
cancer
course.
who passed. And it wasn't because I had more people praying.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
it's a hard. I went through this whole thing.
Power of prayer for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It grew closer to God, closer to Jesus, than because I
Hmm.
needed Jesus. Like, I
Yes.
cried out to him all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
constantly. And so it definitely, my healing isn't responsible for my deeper faith. It
Hmm.
was the suffering through the
Yeah. I
treatment
agree.
that
Yeah.
was responsible for it.
That's the darkness to the light, right? Or my friend once said to me, "You had to be dragged through glass to get to the light, to the better side, and you become a better human." And so, before we get into this other thing about the survivor piece, you mentioned something about your sister. Did you have past people in your life that you lost through cancer?
No,
Is it
my
okay?
family wasn't very cancer ridden, but
Okay.
I do have 3 sisters, and, the statistic is that 1 in 3 women get cancer,
Wow.
and so I guess with
Wow.
me, so I hope my sisters never
Yeah.
get it.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
My mom had colon cancer, and my dad had
Hmm.
prostate cancer, but,
Hmm.
they were treated and they were fine. It was good.
I would say over the past 8 years, 9 years, I lost quite a few women friends that were around my age or slightly younger to cancer. I had a friend who passed away to brain cancer. I had two dear friends pass away with ovarian cancer. Another one was some sort of rare, and she was supposed to fight it, some rare sinus cancer that took her out in a couple years. And then another one was leukemia. It's
I'm so
crazy.
sorry.
All these people. Yeah. The loss that I've it's not about me. It's surprising to see that many women at such a young age, go through this and not survive. But yeah, it's just
I have friends reach out all the time. I have a friend, I
mhm,
have a sister, I have, will you
mhm,
talk to them?
yeah,
So it is when I see on my caller ID somebody's calling me that I haven't talked to in a long time, I know what it is.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
why they're reaching out to me.
yeah. They're checking in on you. Yeah.
Or they want me to talk to somebody who was newly diagnosed.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's spin this up a little bit. For years, you were a voice for metastatic breast cancer community, right? You are a public speaker on it and you're a voice of that. At what point did you feel your reality no longer aligned with that advocacy because you were a survivor? Or are you switching that to an empowering message, right? With hope. Talk to me about that.
Yes, I was a part of Living Beyond Breast Cancer's inaugural
Mm-hmm.
class, Hear My Voice. And it was very exciting. And the class is still going on every year. And they come together and they think of ways to get the message out about metastatic breast cancer. But in my speeches, the
Hmm.
tone was, I will be in treatment for the rest of my life. There is no cure. We need more funding and we need more research, which is true,
Got
true,
it.
true, true. But after a while, me saying, I'll always be in treatment, I'm never going to beat this, that
Mm,
didn't match. I'd say took me like 5 years to
yeah.
kind of change my message to we need more funding, we need more awareness. Believe it or not, we
Yeah.
need more awareness.
You are, yeah, you are a walking, living example of hope.
Yes.
You are, and inspiration. And
Thank
as
you.
much as you might feel guilt about it because you survived, but you're advocate still, but the the one shiny hope that everybody wants to know. You're an example of that. And so it is so important, like people like you or you doing what you do. I think that I could see why you feel the guilt, but I think that you keep doing the work and you keep spreading the message. You work towards getting, funding and helping the process is beautiful.
Oh,
I think
thank
that's
you.
beautiful. Yeah.
Because the hope is important
Mhm.
because statistically, the mortality rate for metastatic breast
Mhm.
cancer is zero.
Mhm.
0. But we're out there. There are hundreds of thousands of us that did, but we make less than 1%. So since we make up than 1%, it's 0. That doesn't mean that there's nobody out there. We're out there.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I just love your story. I love that you survived it. And I've been to friends' houses where they were in remission and we had a party to celebrate and then it came back and then they passed. And so that's very bittersweet. And so I love that your story is so empowering and it gives hope for sure.
Well, thank you. It was a
Cancer is the
long
worst,
journey.
worst bad word ever. The C word.
In the beginning was, just day by day,
Mm,
thinking it's going to come back any minute. And so
gosh,
did the doctor.
yeah.
So it took a
Yeah.
long time, and I was so afraid to say, "Oh, I
Yeah.
beat it," because what if
Yes,
I
I could
died
see
like
that.
the next day? So it took a long time for me to say maybe it's not coming back. I think it
Yeah.
was 10 years that
Wow. Yeah.
but then I do advocate for patients' rights, and I
Mhm.
advocate for better insurance and things like
Yeah, good.
because I've seen it
If so
change.
yeah, I was gonna say, where can you tell us again where you speak on engagements? Is there a program or someplace somebody can go if they wanted to contact you or to hear some of your engagements or have any questions? Is there like a line or link or a website or something that you could provide me later I could
Yes,
share?
yes, for sure. My LinkedIn profile has all my stuff
Okay.
on it, so you can
All
see
right.
my speeches and
I'll make
when
sure to
I was
include
not
that.
looking good when I had cancer. You can see what that looked like.
Well, I mean, the beauty is in the inside, and you were going through cancer. Nobody would look perfectly put together because you're fighting. You were fighting. You were, out there trying to get through this, and at the same time advocating and putting the word out and being, the voice of helping try to find a cure. Right?
I felt led to try to do my part and to try to get the word out, to try to get more funding, to try to do all these things. And I know that was a personal choice. That was something I wanted to do. And I really feel for the celebrities now that feel pressure to do that, and yet not everybody is led to do that. Some people want to be very private and, go through their treatment very
Yeah.
privately. And I feel like they should have that choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I see
see.
that. Yeah. Yeah, I see that. For me, if I have something that could help somebody, I want to share it. Right. That's
I
what this
used to
podcast's
say,
about.
I've had the
Yeah.
most public cancer since Lance Armstrong.
I love your
I'm
sense
always
of
talking about
humor. Love your sense of humor. Well, speaking of sense of humor, didn't you do stand-up comedy before? Isn't
I
that
did.
something that you Yeah,
I
tell us
did.
a little bit more about that. And that's something would you possibly get back into again?
No, definitely not.
No.
My husband hated it. Oh, he
Oh,
hated
really?
it. But I started out with improvisational comedy in
Uh-huh.
Florida.
Uh-huh.
I was with Sac Theater. And then when I moved to Seattle, I started doing stand up. So
Okay.
I did
Awesome.
stand up because that was the only thing I had to get a real job. And stand up was the only thing I could do after hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did that and tons of fun because doing stand up in the
Yeah.
90s, everybody was doing stand up. I mean, it was like,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
today's DJs, everybody's
It's not an
DJs.
easy thing to do. You know what I
No,
mean? That's a tough thing.
it, it
Yeah.
was really good for me because I thought that if I bombed, which I did a lot, you honestly think you'll die. You think that the floor is going to open up and you will die, but you don't. And you're like, hey, look at that! I survived that, and you just keep on going, and you do
Yeah.
a next joke. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
maybe
That's
this one.
that's that's kind of a metaphor of life and sort of like the metaphor of what you went through with cancer, right? There's going to always be obstacles in our life. And I've always been a big advocate of how you gracefully go through it. Yeah, it may not be perfect, but it's the what's next mentality instead of living in that moment, sulking and staying there. It's what's next? What's next? That's how I like to look at life. I'll stay for a little moment to briefly take in what's happening and then think about, okay, now what do I do? Now what's next? How do I get to the next point in my life? And that's how I like to live it. Yes, exactly. And I tell you what, when you live like that in life, that mindset is so healthy.
And I do think that that led towards my advocacy because I love speaking in front of big groups. That's my
Hmm.
favorite. And so when I
Yeah.
spoke to drug companies, it was 2,000 people, and that's my
Mm,
sweet spot. I love that. I love doing that.
okay. Awesome. So you said a lot of your speaking engagements, are they recorded and people can go back and watch some of these or
Yes,
yeah?
yes. It's on my
Awesome.
LinkedIn profile. I
Okay.
used to have a blog,
Okay.
and then I'm like, who wants to read that? So I got rid of that.
You're so funny. You could put all that stuff up on YouTube too, and just save it on
Yeah.
the YouTube.
I do have a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. I did a public service announcement with WWE, with the
Oh,
big
oh,
show.
really?
It was so fun.
Oh, how
That's on
funny.
YouTube too.
Okay. Oh, it is.
Mhm.
Well, then I'm gonna have to get all these links from you and
Yeah,
tie it so people can go back and check into that stuff. So what do you want your children to carry forward from watching you navigate this battle?
I would have to say faith.
Mm,
Faith that no matter what, the good, the bad, just faith to
okay,
come through it.
I like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how do you see your story stitched into the larger legacy of women fighting breast cancer?
That the statistics aren't you. The
Yeah,
statistics are an overall picture, but not you, your circumstance, your cancer. Um, yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I
that's good.
asked my kids if they made a movie of my life, who would you think should play me? And I
I
thought it
love
was
it.
obvious, right? I thought it was totally obvious. And all my kids said Rachel Dresch. Is that how you pronounce her name? Dresch, from
Oh my
Saturday Night
god.
Live. And I was,
Yes, I know it. Really?
and I said, I thought I was Tina Fey. I thought Tina Fey would be me. I said, no,
I love it. I
Rachel
love it.
Dresch.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, it's kind of funny how, everybody sees us differently. We see ourselves another way, right? But it's kind of good to get their perspective on it,
Yeah.
right?
I said, I'll
I
take it
love it.
as a compliment. I'll take it.
Well, now, what message do you hope someone who hears your name or reads your story or watches some of the clips that you had left in videos and speaking engagements take away from this, the greater people out there. And when I say greater people, not just people that have cancer in their life, but to be able to learn about it, because I tell you what, I don't know anybody that hasn't said somebody in their life has gotten cancer, right? What would you like people to hear from your messages and your story?
I wish that people knew more about breast cancer. So then when they find out a loved one has it, they could kind of understand which they have and what the prognosis is. Well, you don't need to know the prognosis is, but the treatments and just to know. So when I meet people that just got diagnosed, I said, what kind
Yeah.
of cancer, breast cancer do you have? And they said, I don't know. So I'll say, do you take tamoxifen? So if you take tamoxifen, that means you're estrogen positive. Were you on
Mm,
Herceptin? Yes, I was. Okay, that means that you're HER2 positive
mm.
because there's different ways of treating it. But it's good to know like, what you have.
Yeah, yeah. And the question is like, what do you want women listening to understand about living with triple negative breast cancer? Because you're living with it, even though you're a survivor, you're living with that legacy, that story that will always be there, right?
Mhm, mhm. It's so crazy that once stage 4, you're always stage 4. So it's
Mm-hmm.
so crazy that I'm stage 4, but somebody in
Mm-hmm.
hospice is stage 4 also. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's so weird.
Yeah. That
Yeah, I
crazy? Yeah.
I'm stage 4, no evidence of disease.
Mm,
So that means that even though I'm stage 4, I don't have any cancer right now.
mm-hmm. What do you want women listening to understand about living with triple negative breast cancer if they're in it right now, in the thick of it?
That there are exceptions to
Hmm.
every rule, and that
Okay.
yeah, and don't worry about the length of your life, which I think we all wanna know, like, the minute you
Yeah.
get metastatic,
Yeah.
anything, you're like, "How
Uh-huh.
long do I have?" And
Yeah.
I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed,
Okay.
and then I was praying really hard, and I heard, "What difference does it make?" And I was
Yeah.
like,
That's interesting.
But it does, but it doesn't."
Yeah.
Like, what would
Yeah.
you do if you knew you had 2 years versus 12 years? I mean,
Yeah.
really nothing. So
They
don't
always
get
say people write their bucket list, right? And they just do everything and with the people you love and do things that you love. And honestly, it's crazy that it takes something like this for people to just live in the moment and do them, be them, and take care of themselves and be present, right? But that's essentially talking about coming to Jesus right away. I feel like I better shape up. Let's do something differently, right? Live now.
now, if I
Yeah.
had a message for a loved one of somebody going through
Mhm,
cancer,
mhm.
I would so encourage them to let their loved one have their moments of sad, scared, go through the
Got it.
gamut because for someone witnessing this, they're so scared of their loved one giving up that
Mm,
they put this pressure on them that they have to have a good attitude all the time. They can't be mad. They can't be sad. There's
yeah.
so much pressure. But
Wow, yeah.
let them be mad, let them be sad, and don't let
Mhm.
them stay in it. But you
Yeah,
have
that's the one thing, yeah.
because the
Everybody's
pressure.
going through the motions, everybody is. Yeah,
So to put pressure on a patient to have a good attitude all the time
yeah, I know.
because the loved ones are so afraid if you let your attitude fall, you're going to die.
Yeah, they from the outside in, they're looking at and that worries them to see you, but you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna have blah, just meh days. And then you're gonna have, days that you're gonna wanna try because you feel like it. Because I can't even imagine what your body goes through during that process and how sick you feel. Yeah, I had two very close friends that would talk to me. It's like, I'm having a bad day or I'm having a good day. And then they're willing to talk, but they're having a bad day. Just don't hear from them for a little while. But it's scary for the people that love them to see them go through it. So, especially with your immediate family, it was definitely, I'm sure. And your children were so young and they don't understand that. And then your husband, Mark, it's a lot of pressure on him too, because
Lot
he had to step up and play a bigger role in the family, right?
his
Supporting you and the
journey.
kids.
His journey was interesting because he was the kind of guy, because he comes from your side of the family. He does not like to ask for help, and he does not like to accept any help that's offered.
Wow.
And so it
Yeah.
took him
That's the Asian culture.
He learned the hard way that he could not do it himself. He
Yeah.
absolutely could not hold
It's gonna
all the
fall
pieces,
apart otherwise.
and so he had to accept help from we had wonderful people in our lives that helped us
Yeah,
tremendously.
that's good to hear. Yeah, I had my one friend who passed away. Her church community really stepped up and surrounded the family and the house and the home while she was going through this. And she couldn't have done it without them. You know, she had other friends and everybody, but the church that she went to really stepped up for them and took care of the family and her while she was going through it. It's unfortunate we lost her, but she got to witness the love while she was here of people stepping up.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful, and can I
it's
address
beautiful.
that for a moment? That
Yeah,
if
yes,
you
yes.
want to step up and help someone,
Mhm.
I always
Mm,
say, think of the chore that you hate the most and go do that. Like show up at your friend's house and said, "I'm here to clean your bathrooms." And
mm.
if you want to really help, bring really practical items that would be hard for them to go out and get, like laundry detergent,
Oh.
soap. Yes,
Yeah, things that they
towels.
that everyday things that they would probably need that
Yeah,
yeah. I like the idea. I'm coming here to clean your bathroom. You know what I
exactly,
mean?
exactly.
Nobody likes to clean the bathroom, but hey, you need it. I'm gonna do it for you, you know?
Yep.
I love
And
that.
if they have a dog, go clean up the yard for the dog because they
Yeah.
can't go out there
Yeah.
picking that up.
No, no. Or walk the dog even, right? Take the dog out for a walk for help them out, you know?
My church was so great that they brought me dinners for 3 months.
Oh, that's
So many
awesome.
people. But somebody felt left out because she couldn't get a dinner, and so I said, "Well, do you wanna bring me breakfast?" She brought English muffins, and she brought
I
bagels, and she
love it.
brought oranges. So maybe that's something you can do to help too, is to bring perishable vegetables, fruit, things like that, because
Yeah,
people
because it
want to
goes
eat
quick and
healthy,
yeah.
but
Mhm,
it's hard. It's hard to eat
mhm.
healthy.
Yeah, it is. That's a great idea. I love that. Um, so we did a Cheese and I did a segment where we talked to ourselves when we were 20. If I were to go back to, you know, when I was 20 and we would write a letter to ourselves. Now let's do this. If you were to go back to talk to Mara in 2007, what would you tell her now that you know everything today? What would you tell Mara then?
It's going to be okay. Don't worry so much. Your kids are fine. It's all gonna be okay.
Easy said than done, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Just
gotta be
think
a
about it.
crazy
Wow.
ride. I think that's what it's
Yeah,
gotta
it's
be a
going to be crazy.
crazy ride, but you're gonna see amazing things. You're gonna see
You're,
amazing things from people. You're gonna see amazing places. You're gonna see amazing things. It's not just all cancer 20.
yeah, yeah. Although it's easier said than done, but you know what? You were strong. You survived this, and you have to take some credit in that. And also, of course, Mark and the community and the people that around you, you know, thankfully you had so much love around you, but it does take a survivor is strong. You said you went from the light to the darkness to the light, and you come out of it, you're a completely different person today than you
Yes.
were before the diagnosis, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Mara, as we close, I ask guests this: if you could reserve a seat at your table for one woman who inspires you, supported you, and give you strength through this journey, who would that be and why?
Through the whole journey.
Mhm.
I think I'm going to say my friend Nancy, who
Okay.
lives in
Shout out
Connecticut.
to Nancy.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to Nancy in
Nancy.
Connecticut.
She was my best friend ever since junior high, and she would check in on me, and she would help me, and she was amazing in doing it long distance.
Wow, that's awesome. It's good to have people like that. So again, shout out to you, Nancy in Connecticut. You're a queen.
Yes.
Um, and as we close, Yara, thank you for your bravery and your honesty and for an example of what means to truly live, right? Day by day, year by year, your story gives hope to so many people walk around in their own journey of this, right? So, Queens, if you've been touched by Mara's story, please share this episode and let's be a reminder that even in the face of impossible odds, life's still worth living with love, laughter, and courage. Now, as we wrap this up and say goodbye, I want Mara to say her final words of anything you want to say before we wrap this up.
Okay. I think my final words would be The most interesting thing about this journey is that when I was going through treatments, people would come and visit me because I couldn't stand to be alone. But what I found is that anything that they were going through just matched my energy. So whether you're going through a cancer treatment or you're going through a foreclosure, because this was 2010, a lot of
Yeah,
people
that's
going
right.
through foreclosures, divorces,
Mm,
infidelity, it's all the same. A hard time is
mhm,
a hard time. And we
mhm,
could come together, and nobody had it worse than anybody else. It's just a hard
mhm.
time is a hard time, and we need to come together in hard times.
I love that. I love that. Well, I'm gonna gather some details from Mara, like her LinkedIn, her YouTube,
Yeah.
and you guys can follow Mara and her story, get some information from her if you need to reach out to her. And then always, always remember to like, share, follow who's sitting at your table. We're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, and all the social platforms, which is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and we also have a link tree now, which you can go to that link and gets you to all the platforms. So please like, share, and follow us. Thank you, Mara, for this amazing, touching, beautiful, inspirational story.
Yeah, thank you,
Till
Tony.
then, you're
My
welcome.
pleasure.
Yeah, until then, everybody, what's that? Like Cheese likes to go call it, what's that? That's our acronyms. All right, bye, guys.